Thank you for staying with us. The Standards Organization of Nigeria has ramped up measures to stem wide circulation of substandard imported and locally manufactured products. The Quality Control Agency is also working on ensuring Nigeria's products are competitive in quality for the purposes of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Also plans to bring back identification marks to enable consumers check for quality assurance in a more sustainable way. The Standards Organization is making plans to reintroduce identification marks on products as opposed to the current practice where one buys a product and scratch and text the numbers to a short code for confirmation. SON says access to quality and safe products is key to sustaining life and promoting economic growth. Well, joining us now is the Director General Standards Organization of Nigeria, Malam Farouk. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Right, now let's begin with understanding the role of calibration to the country, especially the common man.
Well, the simplest way to look at calibration is basically you want to buy a bag of rice, 50 grams or 25 grams, you need to have that amount in the bag. There are certain situations where you have unscrupulous elements. They'll go and buy bags and then they take out little amount out of the bags to create more bags. So calibration, what it does is it prevents the industry from losing money, because the more you produce stuff that you give more than you're supposed to give, when you lose money. And then the consumer is not protected because whatever is coming out of the factory is accurate. I mean, there are occasions where you look at like a tin of Milo, you open it and it's like half, and you haven't even started using it. So calibration makes sure that as long as the industry, they are playing appropriately, there is no excuse from their machines to provide goods that are below what they're supposed to be. And then, you know, like medicine, if you buy medicine in Lagos, or you buy it in India, or you buy it in America, you like to take the same strength of aspirin, and if that strength is always altered because the calibration in the industry producing that product is wrong, it can kill somebody, or it can be underutilized while your problem continues. So calibration basically is like the blood of life for everybody, including the industry.
In the area where people are really worried about standards in Nigeria, areas of food and areas of medicine.
Yes.
There was a former secretary to the government in one of the states who I met a few years ago, and he said, please, I want to go to, it was in Lagos. He said, I want to go and get some medications from a certain well-known pharmacy.
Yes.
He said, because when I was secretary to government in my own state, we spent a lot of money trying to get surgeries for a lot of people because they were taking fake medicine. And what we were doing to just the consequences of the fake medicine is what we were doing, because we cannot guarantee in our states and in many states, you know, the quality of drugs in those states. That's only in Lagos that I can pick some well-known pharmacies and say, no, I know that when I go to this pharmacy, I can do only Lagos and Abuja, he said, that he could guarantee that. It means that a vast majority of Nigerians are swallowing placebos in the name of curing themselves. How are you handling this kind of this? It's a national emergency that is understated.
Well, for practical purposes, drugs and food are the purview of NAFDAC, and they're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah.
You see, the difference between a fake product and a product that is calibrated poorly is very clear. You see, the calibration, poor calibration, is an innocent attempt by the industry to produce a product, but it becomes substandard because the machines are not calibrated. But when you have individuals deliberately trying to produce fake products, fake substance, now that's the issue where things are either imported or produced from the original purpose, they're already fake. And like coming back to the calibration issue we're talking about, if you look at an iron rod, if you bought 40 tons of iron rod and their machine in the industry You drive the truck over the machine, it says it's 40 tons, but when you go home to your industry, it's only 35 tons. Then you as a dealer, you are cheated. And then the problem doesn't stop there. It starts at the quality of the product. So you can build a tall building assuming that you have a certain mass in the iron and steel.
Yes.
But because it was poorly calibrated, now there's no deliberate attempt by the industry to produce a substandard product, then the building can collapse based on just poor calibration. Now, we have a lot of substandard products in the market for various reasons. One of the reasons are that the consequences we have as a society are either not implemented fully or they even don't exist. Like our act was, was reviewed in 2015. At that time, one of the things they were adding is if there's a penalty, you pay ₦1 million or you pay 2 million naira. Now, 7 years ago, the ₦1 million is different from the ₦1 million today. So one of the things we are doing now is we're going back to the National Assembly with this same National Assembly to change the language, to put a minimum on the fines, so that now, even in 10 years' time, if our naira becomes strong, then we say a minimum of this. If it becomes weak, a minimum without a ceiling. So now we can impose penalties that will hurt the individual, because any person trying to peddle a substandard goods, they're doing it for profit purposes. If the product is not profitable anymore because individuals are not buying or individuals are prosecuting, like in other crimes, when you buy a substandard product, you go to court.
Yeah.
And then that person, if they're found guilty, they actually file bankruptcy and some of them get locked up. But in our country, our normal attitude generally is you go to the market, you buy a product, it's bad, you throw it in the trash, cost the person who made it, and then go and buy another one. They're not going to bring it to an authority like ours and say, hey, listen, this is my receipt. This man refused to give me back my money, because we even have to have the culture of going back. Even if it is 1,000 naira, you buy something that is bad, go back to that shop, go to that kiosk and say, give me my money because this is wrong. And then if they refuse to give you your money, then you escalate. We have offices, we have websites, we have everything where we can actually follow there. Because the problem people tend to forget is the fact that 1,000 naira product, if you multiply it by 1 million, that's a lot of money. But to you, maybe 1,000 because you're too busy, you have to go to work, you're late, you don't want to waste your time, is nothing. So we as individuals, we have to have this zeal to protect ourselves and our environment.
Perhaps there's also the matter of processes, that it might be too long for some persons. When you look at the process of getting justice, when it's come to our office and all of the technicalities involved before getting justice for that 1,000 naira might just discourage somebody.
Not necessarily. You see a phone call away. For example, you're on your way, you bought a bulb yesterday, your house help bought it for you, you didn't like it, you have your receipt, take a picture of the receipt, take a picture of the bulb, send it to our website, send it through an email, call a phone number. It takes you 2-3 minutes. On your way, if you happen to pass one of our offices, we have like 3 offices in Lagos, you can go there and have somebody, even somebody who can do it on your behalf. So the processes depends on what you are comfortable with. If you are comfortable with social media, we are available on the social media. We have handles, you can just send it, and then from there, our people will follow up.
How can you give me an example of how you have responded to this kind of thing? And how many people have received, how many of such complaints you have received?
Well, I mean, there are so many of them. For example, we have people who bought iron rods, and the measurement of the iron rods, it says probably 12 millimeters, but essentially it's 10 millimeters. In those situations, we follow to the dealer, we find out the dealer will give us a receipt from which industry he bought it from, and then we rate the industry, surprise rates a lot of times, which we've done. Like in November, we've done that to several industries where we caught a lot of fake. I mean, when you say fake, in those days, it means the standards are below. Because one has to understand that it can be a real iron rod, but the sizes are wrong, because then the claim is wrong. So that makes it fake or substandard. We did those, and then we are sanitizing the industry based on reports of consumers. It's the same thing with other products in the market. And we do our own consumer surveillance.
So from your sanitization of the industry, are you saying now that the influx of substandard products are abating?
Well, we are decreasing the level. You see, this is like a floodgate. For years, we are not able to go to the source of substandard goods coming in. Because 85% of the products coming to this country come from this Lagos here in Apapa and all these other port entries. And we were not allowed to be in those ports because of various reasons from previous governments of ease of doing business, because people were assuming that if you ask them, let's inspect this product in a container, we are stopping them from doing their business. And now our priorities are we going to let somebody bring his container so quickly and clear into the market, or do we test these products to make sure? But you know, from July, we were allowed to temporarily be back, and we have done a lot of work with products that are substandard into the market. But the problem is, the keyword is temporarily. If that temporariness is removed, our people will have more effort, because we have labs that will test these products. We have a whole warehouse in Amodofin where if a product gets out of the port, the customs finish their job, other agencies finish their job, but we have questions. We move the product out of the port so it doesn't block somebody else. And then within 24 hours, we check the products to see whether it is good quality or bad quality. We have labs, 48 accredited labs around the whole world. So we have the ability to test these products. A lot of times we're just blocked because, you know, the misconception is ease of doing business means ease of doing import. And it's not true. No country survives by just opening their door to everything that comes in. It's like you can't just open your house to everything because you want to be a nice neighbor. So we have to get a level where we control these things. And now with this after coming in, a lot of industries are setting up now in our neighbors with the plan that the biggest market, 200 million people, we Nigerians are, they will just flood the market with their products. So we have to make sure that we protect the quality, and then people who are guilty of it, I give you enough penalty to discourage them from doing it again. Because there are certain people, you know, that was several years ago of one of the former administrators has this individual continuously breaking the rule. So he said, my brother, why are you doing this? He said, well, if I bring 10 containers, if you catch 9 and I get away with 1, I'll make more profit to cover the 9 containers.
All right.
So it's consequences.
All right. We need to quickly go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on the break, we were speaking with the Director General Standards Organization of Nigeria, Malam Farouk Salim, and we're speaking about consequences and all of it. Because in spite of some of the aggressive prosecution of the faulters, we still see import of substandard products into the country. Is it that the consequences, something is missing in the process? Tell us what is missing, why we are still having, despite the consequences, we're still having an influx of all of it.
Well, first, like I said, the consequences, the time period made it old. When we are charging $1 million 8 years ago, the punitive measure is now.
Should we take out the option of fine?
Well, that's one. And one of the things we are going to, as a National Assembly, is actually to give straight jail times for products that are life-endangering products. So if you go and import, say, for example, used tires, which is illegal, and you're caught, automatically, first of all, there is a jail time that the judge will send you to jail. Because no businessman wants to spend even a day in jail. They don't mind paying and moving on to the next product. That's one aspect. The second aspect is the fact that people deliberately with attitudes. For example, you are going home for this election now, and you wake up in the morning and your driver says, Madam, our tire has deflated. Then you say, okay, go buy tire. But you will not say go buy a new tire, you say go buy Tukumbo tire because I have to go home today. There's no money. So you first of all, the attitude has to go. When you buy a Tukumbo tire, you have no idea what the standards are. This tire can come from Europe. You don't know what it went through. You don't know how bad it is. You can be lucky you have a good one, but you're not going to be sure. So the people's attitude has to stop from buying these things. If you can't afford a new tire, get a nice taxi and go to your village and vote and come back in a taxi. We don't have to go with your car. You know, it's the same thing. When you go to the market, I promise you, even the people who are selling substandard goods, if you go to them, they'll say, Madam, this charger is original. This one is not original.
Yes.
You choose what you want. And this one in the middle is a little pricey, but it's better. So automatically, the person buying for you will save money and buy the bad one and say, Madam, that's what they give me. So even the people buying, we have to have an attitude. You see, even the sellers are not completely bad people because they will tell you how it is. Give me the original. He will make more money if he sells you the original.
I went to one state the other day and I forgot to travel with my charger.
Yes.
So I said, my phone is dying. So I asked somebody to go get me from the hotel to go get me a charger. He said, okay, which one you want? Is it the one that you use just for the time you are here so that you can go home and go to your original one? Or you want one?
Exactly. Exactly.
So you see, those things are there.
Yeah.
Now, how do we monitor them? But the first question I want to ask is this. Now, we have illegal imports and legal imports. And this problem is with both illegal and legal imports. The question is, who are these countries that are allowing these illegal imports or substandard imports into our country? Do we have arrangements or protocols with them to stop them from where they are coming from? Then the legal ones, at least we know that we have problems with our porous borders and all, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
At least we can catch them in the market. How do we handle both?
You see, the concept you are mentioning is an ideal situation where we can go to country A and have agreement with them and say, okay, don't send these products to us. But the problem is, with the way the business world is, essentially, it's on you, the person buying. So now the problem is we have to sensitize
On
each
you,
other.
meaning the country
The person
or
receiving.
the individual?
Yes, because I can promise you, if you go to wherever they are buying these goods and you show them a passport of a different country, they will say, we are not going to send that product there. Because the consequences there with their laws applies not only to the person bringing, but to the company making, because now they will ban those products from that company. So the issue is, sometimes an ideal situation would have been for the orgas at the top to go and have a ministry to ministry protocol, sign an agreement, both presidents saying will not do it. But the market forces are the most important thing. I have been a long time ago when I'm from Kano. So
But sorry, do we have any agreement with any country?
we
on
don't.
this?
That's what I'm saying. But a long time ago, I'm from Kano. I'm a trader. I live in the US for all these years. So one day I wanted to start building my house in Kano. So I said, let me go to China, buy products, ship to Nigeria, so my money will double. Because the small money I'm making in America is not going to build a house for me in Nigeria. So I went over there. The man, he was thinking, since I'm coming from America, I'm shipping to America. So he was giving me American standards, American prices, because they know if they ship to America, there's consequences.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm sending to Nigeria. He said, oh, that's good. What kind of Tiger battery do you want? So now it's our problem. You see,
It's good that I have options to give you.
Yes.
I'm not going to follow standards because you're going to Nigeria.
So you see, now the other issue is our sensitization as an organization is to now tell the person buying cheap substandard charger, every time you buy a substandard good, you are taking bread away from a potential Nigerian worker, potential brother and sister in your house who graduated and they are looking for work. So when we start thinking like that, you find out that you will not buy. And if you are not buying, nobody will go and buy substandard good to sell to you. There has to be a market for a product to be used.
Absolutely.
So our responsibility is to try and make the law harder, try to use the public to report these people to us so we can continue prosecution. We have a whole legal department and enforcement department that are doing these jobs. But we need people to help us. We need individuals to sensitize individuals about the consequences. This insecurity we are talking about is not because people wake up one day and they just want to be bandits or separatists. There's no work. In the 80s, try and tell somebody to blow himself up. He will look at you like you're crazy.
But there's an irony in this. We have fake everything, but the bandits have not complained of fake guns.
That's what I'm saying. But the problem is, when people are unemployed, we have millions of youth graduating every day. How many times in your newscasts you hear, 10 graduates were caught doing armed robbery in Lagos? So the issue is, we need to make sure these jobs that we are closing every day by buying substandard roofing sheets, substandard chargers, we don't do them, and then we report these people so we make their lives difficult. If it is more expensive for you to produce substandard goods, you will not produce it. You start producing good goods, and our industries will not be closing. Our industries are shutting down big time.
Let's talk about Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement and the role of standardization. Earlier you mentioned that Nigeria does not have an agreement with any country with regards to standards. So how are we expected to play?
No, what I was saying was, he was asking me if there's an agreement to prevent people from producing substandard goods and selling to us.
Yes.
But we have African Standard Organization, which applies to all the standards in Africa. We have International Standard Organization, which applies to the whole world. And we have special arrangements we do, mutual recognition with various countries. Like recently, we are going through these mutual recognition agreements with 6 countries, Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, and Zimbabwe, where if our certificate on a product is put properly, they will go to Zimbabwe without them inspecting again. So it makes business easier. But the standards are there. The problem is we don't have either the capacity or the ability to police those standards to make sure they are followed. And then when you catch individuals, the problem is either the consequences are not big enough, or basically we don't even know, because most public people are not reporting these issues. We have 100 million Nigerians, almost hundreds of thousands of markets, and we are only 1,700 employees. So we need people to be our eyes.
Are there civic NGOs involved in this matter?
No, they are not, for a good reason, because when you start involving NGOs in standard policing and marketing, then there are potentials for abuse. So essentially,
how?
Because there's you can't just have an NGO and then they will go to a factory and say, I want to check your standards, when there's a Standard Organization of Nigeria for the past 50 years doing the same thing. So
no, they don't need to go to that. All they need to do is go to the market.
Yeah, but where do you put the restriction on? You see, the problem is the potential for not only arbitrage, but what do you call it? People trying to scam you. We can't allow people that are not only trained, or they even have the legal power to do anything like that. How would you stop your shop if somebody comes in and even though your product is up to standard, and then they say it's not up to standard?
What they need to do is aggregate interest, aggregate public opinion, aggregate public
you're asking for chaos. You're asking for chaos.
No, they can organize it.
I mean, seriously, what other businesses?
Just like human rights organizations. If you abuse my human rights, I report to the human rights organization.
Yes.
And the NGO is in charge of human rights. Yes. And then they put it together and say, Mr. Z has been producing a very fake rod for the past 20 years. And then they hold him account and make it a public issue.
But this is
then they bring it to your attention.
It's a legal issue.
And bring it to media.
No, you see,
and so on.
any individual, even the malam at your gate, can come and report the bulb he just bought, or the mosquito coil he bought that has Chinese in it, no English.
Yes.
He can report it. Everybody has the ability to report. The problem is individuals are not reporting.
Yes.
Like I mentioned in our discussion.
They need an NGO to do reporting.
No, you don't need an NGO to do that. All you need is to be your own personal NGO. If you are aggrieved, look for a way. We have Twitter handles. We have websites.
Perhaps
we have
need
phones.
to quickly mention them.
Yes.
I think maybe you need to make a lot of noise about that.
These are Twitter handles and our websites, our phone numbers. Okay. Because the thing is, you can't.
So for the Facebook, you have Standards Organization of Nigeria. For the Instagram handle, we have @official Son Nigeria. For Twitter, we have @Son Nigeria. That's SON Nigeria. That's it on the screen. For LinkedIn, we have Standards Organization of Nigeria, and then there's a toll-free line. 2 of them. We have +2 34705 699 0099, +2 34701 655 3290. These are the numbers you can call to make your
name
complaints.
And shame? I mean, people announce this thing to send you this information, are able to confirm. Do you name and shame, like make it a public matter? Make people know that this particular product is fake, was poorly calibrated, and so on and so forth. You need to say, okay, the company JD has just come out with a fake rod, for instance, and we just discovered them. And this is the consequence of what they have done, and so on, and make it known to the public.
People are in jail right now as we speak for trying to either copy our logo or producing substandard goods.
All right.
But then one other thing you have to look at the angle is if you have a factory in Nigeria employing 500 people, even 100 people, by default, there's like 1,000 people depending on those 100 people. Okay. What our responsibility as an organization is, being the heart of the industry, is to make the industry improve.
All right.
So we catch you doing something, we tell you how to improve. Now, if you refuse to improve, we shut you down.
Okay, that's a fine place to leave it now because of our time. We must thank you, Director General, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Malam Farouk Salim, for your time on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.